So we're like, oh, okay, we got it. Well, we didn't get it, right? And so then, Miss Patty have her invoices from QB. Then we're not calling the chief, calling both of them. It's like, hey, did you order this months ago? It's like, yeah, I did that. Did we get it paid? I received it. Did they get paid out? Well, I'm not sure. And so now we're going back of like these invoices of reducing them. So they're coming down. But this is a year in the making.
I'd like to, are we creating some type of booklet or training? So, because let me tell you something, in and out. We've been dealing with what's it called? People quitting and joining for as long as I can remember anyway. So, I mean, are we creating some type of booklet that can kind of be passed down or something that can really just let people know, like, hey, this is how we run, this thing, and this is how we log this thing. I mean, I really like the whole idea of iWorks because, yeah, it's going to streamline and pull things, from paper makes a lot of sense, especially when it seems easier and more concise.
So we plan to do that. I've already asked Pete to create processes so we can vet through what that looks like. So for example, what he's done since we've been here. Checks get signed, right? Because he's accounts payable too. And then we have the finance director. Finance director is really signing checks, running your accounts, but they're also HR. That's an interesting combination, but we'll just go with it. One of the things that we implement is he starts to send me checks, prints out, not of checks, but print an Excel spreadsheet of checks that went out for the week with the amounts, company name and amounts, dates. And so one of the things I asked him to add is, hey, I need to know the departments too, right? So now we start getting this uniformity of like keeping track that we know week to week what checks was signed, what departments it went out. So if we need to back check, we can do a Excel search and kind of get that out. So informally, that's what we're doing. Formally, we're going to get to that process to where not only right now, I will say right now, every job in the city of Kirby has a job description. But just having a job description, which is the HR required function, we don't have what you're saying. How do you do this job? Where should you be at 3 months, 6 months, a year? And those are the things we're trying to create from scratch because everyone is starting from scratch. And so the goal is to have something like that we can share with you all, that y'all can see as far as like what these positions do and what how the learning that comes with that as we move forward. Yes, sir.
Back to the question with this is really a two-part question. Back to we can't find an HR director for 60,000. It's kind of overset. Okay. I understand where you're coming from. You're looking for a glorified bookkeeper, you're looking for a PhD, you're looking for an associate. What are the qualifications for the director?
So that position is more finance than HR. We're under. The website says we're supposed to be at 51 employees, right? We don't have 51 employees. That so means our HR workload is not as high. We're looking for someone who has more experience on the HR side, on the finance side. So guess what we did? We went to the G4, Governmental Finance Office Association. They had their training, their academy. It's where I just went, just in Austin. I was going to try to get someone from other cities who is a staff level accountant to see if they were trying to, if they're looking for a job, right? But I also went through the training. But so severalfold. The problem is you can't get a qualified person for $60,000 just on the finance side, right? So we are now having to get this, excuse me, I won't say, everyone we get is qualified. I will say the credentialing that you may want, we may have to get someone that can be trained to get that. And so now we're looking at what training opportunities that we can pay for a person to say within 6 months we can do this, within a year we can do this. And that is the same training like the Gopher training that I just went to, which is 24-hour training around the accounting, governmental finance accounting, which leads to a conversation that we have to have when we talk about tax rate and other things, because by sending people to these trainings, there were a lot of things that would have been caught and things that has happened. And so part of it I continue to say is like, solutions aren't in Kirby, right? So if each organization, each department has their own statewide organization. Texas Police Chiefs Association, Texas City Managers Association, Texas Code Enforcement, governmental finance, accounting, court, attorneys. There's an organization. And so when we look back, we be like, well, oh, I can see why we didn't belong to nothing. We got all the answers. Right? And so the goal is to get someone who has some baseline skill sets, some experience, and then train them up. But again, we're gonna have to really look at, based on the issues that we have, the issues that you will hear about, we gonna pay now, we're gonna pay later. And I'm saying that in the things that's been on the news, that if we had a person who was trained, some of those things wouldn't have happened, right? And so, but then that's after the fact. We're saying that yeah, we're building up. So, but that, remember, council members, this positioning just, I thought, when I was around the table asking these questions, I thought this was just again one of those 5 months. Then the consultant's like, well, I've been here over a year. Right? So this ain't new. And so that goes back to saying, like, you can pay now or you can pay later. And the backbone of your finances for you to be able to get state, local, county money, federal money is your finances, right? And so when you are on the news for stuff that have to do with finances,
that kind of leads into my second question.
okay, I knew it.
And you know I'm going to ask, but I know the next question.
Yes, sir.
As we talked last night, I'm not going to quote you in this,
Mhm.
I'm going to say what I
Yes.
understood.
Yes.
You told us that $5 an hour for the police is not going to fix the crime problem, which is true. What we're trying to do is give more money to them so they will stay, entice people to come in before they stay to build our department. They come in with training, they come in with licenses. Everybody goes through training, that's what we go
We're talking about police or public?
Yeah.
Or utilities? Can we wait for police to talk about police? We talking about utilities, court, or accounts payable?
That's fine, that's fine. That's
Right, well, because again, like if your point is about pay, one of the issues is we keep thinking that police and fire are only people who need to make money.
Yeah.
Right, that should be our conversation. So I'm sharing with you, we haven't got a finance person because I think the amount is $62,000. You hadn't filled that position in over a year. You're paying a consultant to fill this position. And all we keep talking about is pay for other areas and not filling the area that you're on the news about, that you're having problems with, which is finance. That's the understanding that we're trying to get, and I don't know, I'm just trying to paint this picture for you all so y'all clearly understand why we need to solidify some things, because that's how we all have a solid foundation and we're not questioning, you know, in the meetings, whether it be Kirby Senior Center, whether it be City Council, whether it be crime prevention, whether it be planning and zoning, everybody's questions about the money, right? I'm just trying to solidify to where no one be like, hey, I feel confident that we're good. I'm trying to get all of you to feel confident that we're good. Because if y'all are confident, guess what? You're going to tell your neighbors that we're good. When you ain't confident, then you start becoming like some of the other neighbors. Every question is about where the money's at, who took the money, and this. But the leadership needs to focus and understand. Passing over the conversation about the finance piece doesn't, you know, it's kind of like, you know, we're still held accountable to that. Yep. That's good.
When you, a lot of the things what you talked about, for instance, when we were on the news about money, when was that? Were you talking about the stuff at the senior center?
I didn't talk about a specific circumstance, but I'm talking about if we're on the news or in the paper about money.
Okay. Because I gotta say, like, again, at certain times there were certain, like, different entities. There was a lot of questions about what was going on in that situation. There was a lot of questions as to why we weren't trying to hire a finance director, or we weren't putting enough effort into it because
you didn't. You pay. So I'm telling you, a finance director who has the skill set and qualifications to be a finance director walking through the door, $75,000, $80,000. Someone who's coming in with qualifications that you can train up, that has the skills, right? And then will get there eventually. That's how you can get under that. You brought up a point, and I'm trying to paint the picture because I want us all to be very clear. If we had a finance director, Kirby Senior Center does not happen.
that's not true.
Again. So again, I'm going to stick to the facts on the matter, and I'm telling you. So again, you're talking about the political piece, and I'm talking about the factual piece. I just went to the training. The training talked about component units and blended units. Crime prevention, economic development commission, we don't have that. Kirby Senior Center, those